City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. Hello and welcome to City Spotlight. We're nearing the end of another season here on City Spotlight, Season 8. Just 2 episodes left and we'll conclude the 8th season of City Spotlight. In this episode, we're going to take a look at some extended cuts of things that we did here in the second half of Season 8. We'll be featuring the communities of Shelbyville and Tuscola. First, we'll take a look back at a segment with Dave Brummer in Shelbyville as we learn about the history of the hay baler and Shelbyville. Then, in Tuscola, we're talking preserving history in Douglas County with Dvorachek at the Douglas County Museum. We're sharing the best of the second half of Season 8. Thanks for watching City Spotlight. The structure that we have behind us is a hay baler. And about 5 years ago, WEIU had a program on Shelbyville. Shelbyville, this is our story. And one of the stories told was by Dave Tallman about the hay baler. Gave us a good picture of the history of the hay baler here in Shelbyville, which is very impressive. Dave, and we're talking with Dave Brummer here, and Dave, I think it'd be important to re-educate our audience a little bit about the important history of the hay baler and Shelbyville.
Yeah. So it's 2 stories. They manufactured balers here for 27 years, some of the best balers available on the market in the 50s and 60s. But the reason it ended up here is because the man who really pioneered the mechanization and modernization of haymaking and developed the pickup baler was from Shelby County, a man named Horace Tallman. Okay. So it's really the story of Horace Tallman, who worked tirelessly his whole life to develop an automated baling system, and then he established a factory here, and for 27 years they produced some of the best balers in the world here in Shelby County. So that's the really the story. It's the story of Horace Tallman and the manufacturing of balers here.
I think a simple definition would be good to remind me and our audience, what does a hay baler do?
Yeah, so getting hay in from the field to feed your livestock in the early part of the last century was one of the grittiest, labor-intensive jobs on the farm. And it happened in the summer. It was hot and humid. And so Horace Tallman was in the hay business, but he was constantly looking for a way to make this a better job to do on the farm, a way to mechanize it and get it done. Right. So hay used to come in loose. They'd cut it loose and put it on big mounds on wagons and bring it in loose. Right. And then Horace discovered the hay press, where you'd bring in the loose hay and feed it into a bale press, and it pushed bales out the other side that you could stack in a much more orderly fashion, and you could mark it and you could move them around. So it's called a bale press. But then he wanted to develop a system of going through the field and just picking up the hay off the ground and squeezing it into bales as you travel through the field, and that's a baler. So what this device does is, what you see in the front of here is designed to pick up loose hay off the ground, and it feeds it into a system where there's a press back there. It binds it with wire and pushes bound bales out the back. So it does it all in one process.
The end result, it looks very neat.
It looks very neat, and it's much easier job, and you can pack them away in your barn in a more efficient fashion.
His invention, I guess, is it safe to say that was an invention that he kind of made here? How did it transform agriculture at that time?
It was huge. So it took one of the most labor-intensive jobs on the farm and it mechanized it. It was called the pickup baler early on. It was just called the pickup baler because it was a baler that could pick up the hay off the ground. Right. And it was his concept, and he hired engineer Raymore McDonald, who's honored here in town. He received an award from the American Agricultural Engineer Association for engineering the first pickup baler. Right. And him and Horace Tallman did that. So it's agriculturally, it's very historic.
I'm curious, Dave, what got you interested in the hay baler?
Great question. So in 2019 was the bicentennial of this state. Right. And our local historian here in town, Brenda Elder, she asked if I would put together an exhibit for the bicentennial having to do with agriculture. Right. So I decided to do a story. I researched the mechanization of agriculture, starting with horses into the very first steam tractors, and then take us all the way through to what we use today, modern agriculture with GPS guidance systems. Right. So in researching that, I came on to, I'm not originally from Shelbyville, so I wasn't aware of it, but I came on to the story of Horace Tallman, how he developed the baler, and then he built them here. and sold his patents to Oliver Baler Company, and they built Oliver Balers here.
Right.
And I was fascinated by that story, and it happened right here in this little town that I've lived in for quite a while and was unaware of. And I went around town, I did a little research and found that there was really nothing to commemorate that.
Wow.
And so I really immediately wanted to just try to do something to memorialize the importance of the Oliver Baler factory here in Shelbyville, Illinois.
You're helping preserve history in that way. So tell us about the current project that you're working on.
So what we got a great committee together. It's got some of the Horace Tallman heirs, we got local farmers, we got local ag businessmen. We've got a committee together and we're moving along very nicely. We've got approval for a site from the city of Shelbyville. It's going to be out in Forest Park,
okay,
out by the lake. This summer we're going to construct a building with big display windows, and we're going to display some balers that were built here and also some artifacts from inside the old Baler factory. And we're hoping to dedicate that memorial on Labor Day, because it kind of fits, because this is really about the labor of the men and women who worked at the factory all those years and produced those balers. So we're going to dedicate that on Labor Day 2022.
If you're interested in agriculture and hay balers, something pretty cool is going to be happening.
Yeah.
Forest Park, already a lot going on there, so you're just adding one more reason to check out Forest Park.
Yeah, it's
here
a
in
wonderful
Shelbyville.
park.
So you're not doing this alone. Who's helping you with this project? I understand you're reconstructing some hay balers. So who are the people that are helping you on this?
Well, in addition to the committee that are planning the construction and the siting of the memorial, I have acquired 3 balers, and I sent them. I'm actually using a restorer up in Armington, Illinois.
Okay.
A father and son operation, do nice work, and they're restoring 2 of them. This one behind us is already restored. It's an old restoration.
Wonderful.
But the 3 balers we're going to put in the display are kind of interesting. So this is the very first Oliver designed baler that was built in the Shelbyville
The one that's
factory.
right behind us.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
This is called the Model 8 Balemaster.
Got it.
And they started producing this in 1945.
Wow.
So this baler, they started making this right after the soldiers came home from World War II, to give you a time perspective.
Wow.
Then we have back there, and you might see some video of it later, but we have a Model 62, which was made in from 1956 to 1960, and it was one of the most popular models that they put out. The Model 62 was the first baler where they really became conscious of baler safety.
Okay.
And it had tremendous improvements and advancements, and it was their most popular baler. So Model 62, and then the last baler they were producing when they closed the plant in 1970 was the Model 720, and we have one of those currently being restored in Armington, and it'll be back here this summer.
Hay balers, how prominent are they today?
So you might ask, why did the factory close in 1970? It wasn't because they were not producing a good product or that they weren't popular, but agriculture was changing at that time.
Right.
Livestock was getting more vertically integrated, bigger operations, less operations, and everything was getting more mechanized, and the hay baling, the demand for hay balers was dropping off significantly just because of the change in agriculture.
Yes.
And so as a result of that, by 1970, the sales were dropping off to where they couldn't justify the plant here in Shelbyville, and they had to close it.
So maybe this is a very simple question. I'm curious for your answer. Why is a project like this, Dave, important to you and those that are working on it?
I love agricultural history, and if you're in agriculture and you really look at what's happened to agriculture since, I would say since the 20s particularly, when tractors first started coming on the scene and horses started to go away, until now, it's just amazing. It's almost unbelievable how technology has progressed on the farm. It's interesting to me, and this is a story that's, I think, important to this county, because the baler was basically developed right here, and then it was manufactured here, and I just think it's significant, and it's something we ought to preserve.
To this area, the hay baler has certainly left its mark in the history of agriculture.
Yeah, and it was also, I want to add how economically significant it was for this area.
Right.
In the early 60s, it was the biggest employer in this town.
Right.
Had an annual payroll of $1.2 million, which think about what that would be in 2022.
That's 60 years ago, so you're right, that would be quite a bit of money.
Yeah, 1.2 million annually into this economy, and you know, you have to wonder, if it wasn't here and if it wasn't for Horace Tallman, what this town would be today, how it would have developed without that.
As a historian, and I'm kind of a history buff myself, so I'm very interested to learn this stuff, hearing this information from you. What have you learned since 2019, after Brenda Elder, who's been on this program? What have you learned about the hay baler that surprises you?
Well, I learned that it was developed right here. That we went from harvesting hay with horses to harvesting hay with tractors. And I didn't know that the city of Shelbyville and one of its citizens was essentially responsible for that. And for anybody that's ever baled hay, for anybody that grew on a farm that had cattle or dairy and required the baling of hay or straw, when you think about hay baling now compared to what these guys had to do back in the 20s and 30s, it's remarkable. I'm really grateful to Mr. Tallman.
And I think it's pretty significant for any community to be the place where something got started.
Yeah.
It's certainly a mark and something that Shelbyville can lean on, that, hey, we're the birthplace, or whatever the correct word is,
Yeah.
of the hay baler, a significant invention
Yes.
in the agricultural world. All right, very good. So Dave, let's remind our audience again, the target goal for it's going to be 3 hay balers.
3 hay balers and factory artifacts.
And this location will be where?
It'll be out in Forest Park, and we're going to dedicate it this Memorial Day.
Labor Day.
I'm sorry. This Labor Day, and we don't know the exact date yet. But if you're interested in this, keep your ear to the ground. We'll be putting out information, and we'd love to see you out there at that dedication at Labor Day.
That would be awesome. And Dave, those that may be seeing this episode and learning and going, oh, that might be something I need to check out. Maybe they live in the area. Maybe they're out of the area. Somehow they see this. When they come out Labor Day weekend, assuming everything goes timely,
Yes.
what do you want them to take from their experience visiting the everything that you're going to be putting in Forest Park?
Yeah. Well, I think just the realization and the appreciation of this significant advancement in agriculture that was really born right here in Shelby County, and then was manufactured right here in Shelby County. And we think about how the importance of hay was to cattle and dairy, and you think about the average person who lives in town and is not associated with agriculture. This helped farmers put more milk, more cheese, more beef products on your table. And it happened because we could mechanize agriculture, and we could do it more efficiently and produce more for everybody. So
I don't have any more questions to pick your brain, Dave. I've learned a lot. Hopefully our audience has too. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close this interview?
Just remember Labor Day and look at the news and come out and see us on Labor Day. That'd be great.
Thank you very much. Amazing work being done by Dave Brummer and people that are helping you out with this project. We thank you for your time and educating us on the hay baler.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. For me, I've been here before. I did a feature on a longtime WEIU program, Heartland Highways, many years ago. And Anna was a storyteller for the Tuscola This Is Our Story program. So glad to have Anna back on WEIU. But for Anna, for viewers at home that may be watching this episode and they're learning about, there's a Douglas County Museum for the first time, share a little history about this place and what's it all about?
Sure. So the Museum Association formed in 1984. The museum itself opened its doors in 1987. Okay. So we are based here on promoting the preservation of Douglas County history. We do events, we do exhibits, we have a genealogical and research library here that people can use, and people ask questions all the time, so that's really fun. We also have education kits for schools to check out, and just try and do things out in the community to promote local history. We also have the Douglas County Historical Museum District, which there are only a few historical districts in the United States.
Wow.
So we passed by countywide vote a few years ago the formation of that district. That provides a tax base for us that basically takes care of our building and maintenance and things like that. And then our association continues to do events, programs, artifacts, supplies, anything like that.
You keep very busy, it sounds like. So through this position here at WEIU, I've interacted with many people that are with historical societies, county museums, hearing about your background. This is what you want to do. So I'm excited to hear this answer. Why is it important to preserve local history?
So for me, growing up, you're in school in history and you're learning dates, you're learning people. It's a lot of memorization. Yeah. And for me, I failed to kind of make a really meaningful connection with it. It was when I was exploring my own family history that then things started making sense. we learn about World War II, we learn about the Holocaust, but then until I found family members that were in the Holocaust, then all of a sudden that made more sense to me. So I think too, learning about history, you're learning about it on a big level, but local history provides an excellent opportunity for you to make those connections because you're learning about individual stories. So how did the big picture affect these individuals? And lastly, I think too, growing up in a smaller town and everything for kids, they're learning and they get to learn about people who went on to do these amazing things from the town that they were in themselves. So I think it's really important to share local history and for the community members to learn local history.
I love your answer. I'm kind of a history buff myself. I'm interested in different things maybe than you are, but it's history and I love learning about it, so thank you for that answer. Before we talk about recent exhibits that you've had here at the museum, I think it's fair to ask you here, how was the museum impacted by COVID over the last 2 years?
Sure. So like every other place, it was a big challenge for us because, we are based on community outreach. We are based on people coming to do research with us or coming to a program. Our membership funds the museum. And so for us, we took a loss in membership and took a loss in donations because we had our doors closed so no one could come and see. And as a local history organization, you're constantly kind of proving your worth and trying to show this is something worthy for you to fund. And when you can't do that outreach, it's challenging. So we did do some virtual programs. We did a countywide scavenger hunt where people had to go around taking pictures of different things out in the county. So tried to kind of do some things there, but then also working on our larger projects, our parking lot, our lights, things like that were more visual outwardly. And then also doing inventory and artifact work here within the museum. So tried to kind of switch around and do some internal things that really, needed to get done.
Let's talk about your exhibits. That's kind of the exciting thing that happens here. People come to check things out. We have some things behind us. Tell us about your most recent exhibit that just wrapped up.
Sure. We just finished up a motorcycle exhibit, which was a lot of fun. There's still a couple here, as you can see in the background. It's just something really fun that we can do in the wintertime. My husband's a big rider, too, so that makes it extra special for our family. And it just was a lot of fun to be able to see everything from, there's a lot of farm kids who grew up riding.
Yes.
We have people who did hill climbing and racetracks. We had a racetrack actually in Camargo.
Okay.
So there's some good history there. So you see a lot of family connections with riding. And I think that it's just a great opportunity to bring the community together and be able to have them here.
What are some other notable exhibits you've had in the past?
So we've done everything from, I think I did a secret societies exhibit when I first came here. That was kind of fun. Anything on agriculture, farming, broom corn. I did one on women's suffrage recently and highlighted some of the women from Douglas County that went on to do some interesting, neat things.
Yeah.
So anything, like we said, motorcycles. We've done Progress Industries in Arthur, so different industrial things. Newspapers, baseball, anything and everything. So it's just been fun to explore all the different topics here that you can.
And stuff before Anna's time, those previous things that we've aired on WEIU, you can also learn about that stuff too. So just tons of exhibits through the years on a wide variety of subjects. That's kind of the cool thing about a museum is you have however many exhibits you have a year on just a wide variety of topics. You can just about hit everybody's interest.
Yes, most definitely.
All right, very good. You kind of mentioned, but kind of recap other activities that you have here in addition to the exhibits.
Sure. So recently we did a mural tour with the Tuscola High School students. So that was really fun. So they acted out the different people that are featured in our mural, which is a great way to bring it alive and really show that we're the county museum. Tuscola is a part of our community, but we also have many other communities that are a part of us. So that was a great way to show everybody. We have done cemetery tours, which have also used the high school students and other community members. And that's been really fun because they act out the different people that are in the cemetery, and people can go around and talk to them. And we've had some descendants as well play people, which has been really exciting. We've done downtown tours, historic tours of what the buildings were.
Nice.
We've done things like going to the Strybeck blacksmith shop in Newman and doing a program there. So we're trying to do more. We're planning a cemetery tour with Camargo Township Library there. So one of my EIU interns is going to be helping with that.
Nice.
So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
We've done photo contests every year, which is really fun. So kids, adults get to take photos in Douglas County. We have a local history category in that. And then we've done Illinois Humanities Road Scholars programs, which have done everything from folk songs in Illinois to Underground Railroad quilts. So we just try and do a really wide range of topics for different people to be able to come here and also do, and then go out and do parades and festivals, and like I said, help our EIU interns, which is fun, and do different projects with them. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Very much a part of the community and obviously the county, because you're a county museum.
Yes.
Very noticeable on the exteriors. Maybe not on a rainy day like today that we're taping here on May 5th, but tell us about that beautiful mural you now have on the north end of the building.
Yes, so this was one of the wonderful things that actually came out of COVID.
Okay, one good thing.
Yay! We actually got to do this, so that was really fun. So the Museum Association of Douglas County raised the funds along with some donations from Lyondell-Basell and the Tuscola Community Foundation. And then Ainsley Heilich, who is our vice president, he is the owner of Vintage Karma, which is a tattoo studio right here in Tuscola.
Right.
And very talented artist. And
Yes.
he designed the mural. And then we had volunteers from the community come in and paint it. It was really fun to be able to do. It features everything from various festivals and things within the county, industries, farming and agriculture, historical landmarks. We had WDZ Radio, the third radio station in the nation, right
Correct,
here. So
correct.
that's there. And then a lot of those people that I was talking about
Right.
too. So you can actually go on our website and it'll tell you what everything is, why it's there, and learn more about it.
It's a very wide mural that shows a lot of things.
Yes, yes. And then out there, we're working on, there's a natural area that's kind of, if you see a big thing, a big hole, you know that's our natural area. So we're putting native Illinois plants and pollination plants in there.
Nice.
And then there's a 1942 car that we've got some plans for out there in the parking lot. So you guys will have to
That might
stay tuned and see what we're going to do with it.
that might spark you car enthusiasts out
you
there.
go.
All right, so we're talking about current and past things that take place here at the Douglas County Museum. Give us a preview of upcoming exhibits that you are thinking about doing.
Sure. So we just built these movable walls, which is really going to help us with our exhibits because we have one big space. So this will help us break up and be able to actually put more of our collection out on display. So we're working on those. But the big thing that's coming up is we are doing a built-in that's going to be kind of like a town circa 1900, 1920. So you'll be able to walk along, look inside a general store, look inside a bank, look inside a newspaper office, those types of things.
Okay.
And really see, kind of what it looks like at that time, kind of more of an immersive exhibit. So that's our next big one.
And how far ahead do you plan exhibits? Are you thinking about not just the next one, but maybe 2 or 3 ahead?
Sure. Sometimes I have kind of a pocket of different things that I've been thinking of,
and then
and
you
it
feel
kind
like
of just
what's the right time to, this might be the right time for that idea.
Yes.
Okay.
And with our EIU intern coming, we have one that's working on the exhibits, another one that's got the project with the cemetery tours. So it's kind of a good time for us to work on the floor anyway and bring out some new things. And so, yeah.
I think it's important to bring about how people can, as you talked about with COVID, kind of hurt you there with a number of people coming and how you're supported. So to the people out there, how can they support or donate historical items to the museum?
Sure. So definitely, obviously, donating directly. That's something that anyone can do. Sometimes our members will send in extra donations along with their dues, which is wonderful. Membership, we do a monthly newsletter where I put some history stories in there and different things that we do for our members, so you can join our museum membership. That really helps us because that is going directly towards the exhibits and things that you guys are seeing externally. It's a great way to kind of say, yes, I support that, and this is what I want to stand behind. We also have an Amazon wish list on our website. We have an Amazon Smile account. We have merchandise for sale here that people can get to support local history. And then really donating local history items, research, even things in our library that helps out, scheduling a tour, coming to visit, sticking something in the donation jar, anything like that. Our volunteers here logged over 800 hours last year.
Wow.
So there's a lot of really wonderful people supporting it.
Let's give a shout out to the volunteers.
Well.
How important are the volunteers to you guys here?
Yes, very, very important. I have, I rely on them for, I'm not locally born here. So it's wonderful being able to talk to them too. They're remembering things that I don't know about. They're informing me and giving me that wonderful local connection. And then now I married a Newman kid, so now I've got even more history back there, and he can tell me about different things. So it's been wonderful getting to know the people here over the years, and just kind of having that lovely basis of volunteers that do a lot of work here, and I would be hurting here if I did not have them. So I'm very grateful.
You kind of answered what I was going to ask you lastly about being here in Tuscola, and you say you live in Newman, so you're very much ingrained in Douglas County, but you kind of answered that question. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Anna, about the museum before we close?
So we're really focusing too on some preservation projects. There's a one-room schoolhouse that we would love to bring here.
Nice.
But obviously that takes funds.
Yes.
There is a vault door that was owned, that was in the Newman Bank downtown that we would love to preserve. So there are projects like that we really want to get out into the community and be able to help out with things like that, and we need funding for that. That's something that's near and dear to our hearts, obviously, here, and we just want to be able to provide that for the community and be able to go out there and help them with those things.
We thank Anna Dvorachek, the executive director here at the museum. Anna, it's great to see you again, and thank you for sharing what the Douglas County Museum is all about.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time to come here and talk.
Appreciate it, and great job on preserving history in Douglas County here.
Thanks.
City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.